I have made over $5 million cold calling since I turned 18 and dropped out of college. In this video, I'm showing you exactly how I've done that step by step, doing something called wholesaling real estate. People don't fail at real estate because they suck. They fail because there's too many ways to succeed. That's why I suggest you focus on the most important skill in all of real estate, which is finding deals. I'm Ruud-Johnson, and in this podcast, I share the exact steps I've used to source 400 deals by age 24. This will allow you to do three things: control your deal flow, make unlimited income, and build your empire as an off-market operator. Well, as you heard from the intro, this video is about my favorite topic when it comes towards the business. What I've made millions of dollars doing, helping others learn and do, is cold calling. And cold calling is a time-tested marketing channel that's not going to go anywhere. And as real estate investors and real estate brokers, you guys know that a lot of the marketing channels that work one quarter don't work the next. Some quarters mail is amazing. The next month it's not working because it's saturated. Pay-per-click works great, then it doesn't because it's so expensive. TV ads work and then they don't. Radio ads work and then they don't. Texting works and then it's illegal. So with all this stuff, you guys, you in a pipeline business like ours, you need a way to reliably predict revenue over a year basis. And cold calling for me was that one thing. And I'm a big proponent on one thing at a time and one marketing channel at a time and one product at a time. And I think for anyone that's doing off-market acquisitions, cold calling is the best way to get to $1 million, $2 million a year in revenue. And then at that point, you can expand into other marketing channels. But we have done $1 million or more in a year in revenue and pure cold calling since I've been in the business of off-market acquisitions. For any asset class, it works. We have clients we work with in the commercial space, residential space, flipping everything, and it works. And in this video, this episode of the podcast, the Off-Market Operator Show, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we set up our cold call funnel, how we set it up to scale, and what we do. So as you guys may know, if you follow along with me, I own call centers around the world. We currently own call centers in Egypt, the Philippines, and Belize. And I have set call centers up in 7 to 8 countries now. I've staffed over 500 cold callers around the world. We have a very big team, and cold calling is the backbone of a lot of my businesses. So I am speaking from experience when I say I know it works. I'm not selling you anything in this show. I'm actually giving you our exact blueprint. And I can tell you, if you implement this, you can make as much money as you want in off-market acquisitions as long as you are consistent, right? And cold calling is, first and foremost, a volume game. So it is, and we get a lot of complaints sometimes of, hey, the leads aren't good, or hey, this and that. And to be very honest with you, cold calling is a game of volume, right? We're looking at the 2 out of the 100 people we talk to who are ready right now to make a decision on their asset that they want to sell. And we're dealing with prospects that they only sell, especially on the single family side, they only sell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homes in their lifetime, right? Commercial asset owners might be a little more volume than that, but for the most part, you're dealing with a very uneducated, unexperienced prospect or client you're working with. So cold calling, again, is my favorite marketing channel in any business, really, but especially the off-market acquisition business, direct to seller on commercial, residential, whatever asset class you are chasing down to flip, develop, build, wholesale, whatever you're doing with these properties and these assets in your business. The first part of our cold calling funnel, right, is understanding data. And data is a very tricky thing, and most data companies are terrible. And so you hear all the gurus naming their own data companies or different data companies around the business, from PropStream to ListSource to Atom Data to Batch Data. There's a ton of them, right? And data is there's no secret to it, right? There's some companies that have built very cool predictive data sets like Audantic that are the real deal. But at the end of the day, data is data. What we want to do is we want to give ourselves the best chance to have our data perform for us. And so the way we do that is list stacking, especially for cold calling. We want to list stack. So what that means is, my current favorite list stacker is REISift, REISIFT.com. I am not affiliated. I'm not giving you a code. I just like the owner, Tyler, and I like what they do, what they stand for, and how they help investors. And what they do is you essentially can go buy a list of absentees, list of vacants, and you can stack different list types inside of a list stacker, which then gives you more precise, more niche down leads and gives you, again, the best chance to get in contact with the most motivated prospects. So that's the first part, data. Then we have to talk about contact information. So contact information, A lot of people go cheap here and they go buy the 3 cent skip trace record. That's going to hurt you, right? If you go cheap on data, you go cheap on your business, you hurt yourself in the long run. My data source that we use is easybuttonskiptrace.com. It's 5 to 15 minute turnaround. I am affiliated with that company, but we've done a lot of testing with data scientists and other things to make sure we have the best data possible for cold calling. So once you have your data and you have your list stacked list and you have your skip tracing, you can do the next part of the cold call funnel, which is actually setting up your dialer. So if you're not hiring an agency and you're doing this yourself, you're hiring your own cold callers, using a dialer like Ready Mode or Call Tools is a great place to start because it's a monthly commitment. It's an easy setup. It's not that expensive, and it's very easy to use and understand. And one of the biggest things I see differentiate people when they start cold calling themselves, if they're going to be successful or not, is if they actually learn the dialing system. So don't go hire someone from the Philippines, throw them on a dialing system and cross your fingers. Learn the dialing system. The reason we've been so successful with cold calling is because we treated it like its own business inside of our company. We didn't just go out there and try to cold call and throw a couple people on a dialer. We actually treated it like its own business inside the company because it is. It's a marketing team inside your business if you're going to do cold calling for deals or cold call yourself. Once you have your dialer set up, then we can actually get to scripting. And scripting should be something that's very fluid. You never want to set your script and forget it. You want to be reviewing your script every single week. If you have cold callers working for you, doing reviews with them. If you have an agency you're working with, doing reviews with them. And you want to continuously tweak your script because the more feedback you get from sellers, you'll know what works and what doesn't work, and you can edit it. So once you have your scripting, once you have your dialer, once you have your data, once you have your list stacking done, then we can move into actual campaign deployment. And there's 2 ways this is done, really 3. Option number 1, you go hire an agency. I do own an agency, easybuttonleads.com. I'm sure you guys know that if you follow me and you listen to the podcast. That's how I know what I'm talking about. You hire an agency, that's awesome. Option B is you do it yourself. So you, your partner, someone on your team in office or in-house, if you're a virtual company, are dialing. They're sitting on the dialer, they're dialing and getting to sellers. Couple key KPIs on the dialing side. The first KPI you want to look for is calls made per day. On a 5 to 10 line dialer, you can make pretty easily 350 to 1,050 dials per day. Anything under than that concerns me. Anything over than that concerns me. In that range, depending on data quality and length of conversation, you should be getting good results. Then you need a 5 to 8% contact rate. What does that mean? Out of 100 people you call, 5 to 8 should be answering and having a conversation with you, even if that conversation is to F off and take a hike. Then we want to look at leads per day. And the cold calling for real estate, if you're in commercial, industrial, mobile home parks, things like that, you can expect about 0.5 leads per day for a full-time caller. If you are more so in single family, you can expect 1 to 3 leads per day per full-time caller. If that's you, a partner, or an agency. Your third option is hiring someone yourself. So going out on Upwork.com or going out on Fiverr.com and finding a cold caller from a different country. A couple of things here you guys want to look for. One is an English speaking ability or 7 out of 10 or more. What that means is someone from the US, when they pick up the phone, they're not going to automatically expect that they are out of the country. I can't hear the horror stories and the calls I get on properties that I own of cold callers in the Philippines and in countries like that are not managed, trained, and recruited properly. It's easy to tell. That'll kill a conversation. That's the first thing. Second thing is at least 2 years of comm experience. I mean, they have worked either for a different company or they've been cold calling as a job for at least 2 years in their lifetime, right? Because that gives them the most important thing, which is communication skills and communications confidence. What that brings is the understanding of how to be on the phone, tonality, how to handle objections in real time. They're not just reading off a script. That's a big thing. I want to hire for comm skills, and we can train content. So we can train the individual script. That is easy to do. The next thing, you guys, once you have either chosen an agency yourself or an agent, is to be consistent, okay? This is a volume game. At one point, we had 50 cold callers full-time on our campaign for our company, calling sellers and getting deals done. And so it is not a set it and forget it. And you also can expect a 120 to 180 day contract cycle, meaning once you cold call a lead and they say yes and they opt in, you should be taking anywhere from 120 to 190 days to get that under contract and nurture them in your pipeline. With that being said, you will get your low-hanging fruit. You will get the deals that get done in 20, 30, 40, 50 days. Even one call closes sometimes, but for the most part, statistically speaking, you'll be between 90 and 180 days from an actual lead to a contract. And that is okay. That's normal because we're dealing with large liquidity events, 20, 30, 40. On the multifamily commercial side, 100, 200, $300,000 liquidity events that make the sales cycle worth it. So this is not a get rich quick game. This is a let's build our pipeline over a year or two game. And then eventually you'll start seeing those $100,000 months if you're consistent. Two other things is to keep into mind when it comes to cold calling is length of a cold call conversation. You should be between 3 and 7 minutes, meaning if you're below 3 minutes, you're not trying hard enough. If you're above 7 minutes, now your cold caller is running a sales process. They're not running an opt-in process, and you want this to be an opt-in call. You don't want to take them through the same sales process 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. That'll kill your relationship with the seller. After we have talk time with the seller, the last thing we want to focus on, you guys, when a lead comes in, is speed to lead. I'm not going to talk about sales process in this video, but speed to lead. As soon as a lead comes in, you should be on the phone with them within 6 hours. Worst case, 12. You wait 24 longer, they're going to have talked to other companies. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call them. You're going to say, hey, are you interested in selling? They're going to say yes. Then you're not going to call them back for 24 hours. So they're going to go Google, sell my fire damage home fast. And they're going to submit 10 different pay-per-click forms and their house is going to be sold. I've seen this like time and time again. So make sure if you're going to be either hiring an agency, doing it yourself, or hiring a caller, that you have good speed to lead post opt-in. Cold calling, again, you guys, is a powerful tool in your arsenal of marketing. I'm a big proponent of focusing on one marketing channel at a time and mastering one at a time. And for me, cold calling was that first channel that I really mastered and that we built our business on and other businesses on as well. So watch this episode back a few times if you are in cold calling. Again, don't go hire an agency if you're not ready. I do own one, but I'm not going to shove that down your throat. Experiment with cold calling yourself. I got my first 10 deals done in this business just cold calling myself. Experiment with hiring a virtual assistant yourself. If you want to go that route, that can be painful if you don't want to run another business in-house. But I do go over all of that and more in this episode, so take notes and watch it back if you have to. As always, a like, a share, a mention, a reply means the world. This episode you just listened to actually because of the fact someone DM'd me and said, hey, I want an episode more in depth on cold calling. So I do listen. I do take that into account. So as always, give me a follow, subscription, wherever you listen to the show, and let me know what you want to see. And as always, you guys, and it's so true, you are truly only one deal away.